Hey Bulldog fans, welcome into another edition of the Samford Sports Wrap-Up presented by Coca-Cola. I'm your host, John McAfoose. Happy to be joined today by Samford soccer head coach Todd Yellen. Coach, always appreciate your time.
Good to be here.
Well, conference play is starting up this weekend. Before we get to that, let's kind of do a recap of the non-conference schedule. A really good schedule as it is for you guys every year, and I know a couple of the really good results you got are a draw at Auburn a couple weeks ago. You had a really thrilling victory in double overtime against Western Kentucky in the final seconds. Just kind of look back at the non-conference schedule and what are some of the positives and negatives that you take away from that?
Well, I think, first you got to start with we have 12 new players, right, and 14 returners. So, 26 kids, that can go a lot of different ways in those numbers, and it's been just a dream. The kids have been great. They've worked hard. Freshmen have done great. I think the upperclassmen have done an amazing job leading. So, I've been really happy with that. And then, the schedule is what the schedule is here for us. We played the defending national champion. We played two Power 5 teams and Auburn and LSU. And then we go to Chicago and play a very tough team. And then we play teams that traditionally win their league. I think when you look at the body of work, I'm really happy with where we're at. Probably I'd love for some of those ties to be wins. It's crazy, that we're leading the nation in ties. That's not a statistic that I've ever been a part of. But the Auburn and the Western games were incredibly important from a standpoint. With Western we go down twice, right, and then and we draw level, and then we score the game winner with I was like less
16,
than a minute.
I think, 16 seconds.
So, and then we go same thing. We go and that's a double overtime, and then we're 16 seconds away from losing at Auburn. And especially after we've been up 2-0 and they take the lead 3-2, a lot of teams fold and be like, all right, we've given a great effort. Maybe when you're playing a Power 5 and with all the things that Auburn brings to the table and down on the plains, I thought to come back and tie that game up and then have significant chances to win it in overtime was pretty great, and also revealed the desire of this group and the character of this group.
You mentioned all the ties. You've got 4 of them. You've had 5 double overtime games. 4 ties leads the nation, as you said. Have you been a part of something like that where you've played so many double overtime games in such a short period of time?
Never. You do not get cheated at Samford if you come to see a game, because there's a chance you're going to get extra time, right? But biggest thing is that sometimes in the league we'll play teams who will be content for a point, right? And they'll be content to tie us, and that's really, really hard to deal with. So I hope maybe some of this that we've been through will give us experience as we head into conference play.
Talk some more about that freshman class. You mentioned all the new faces. It's a big freshman class. We talked in the preseason, and you mentioned they'd make an instant impact, and we've seen a lot of them start. We've seen a lot of them play a lot of minutes.
Right.
Talk a little bit about what you've seen development-wise from that freshman class.
Well, first and foremost, I'm a big believer that it all rises and falls in leadership, right? And we have a really great culture here at Samford. It took a long time to get it exactly like we wanted it, but I think you have to have upperclassmen who embrace that and show that to the younger kids. And so that group of upperclassmen and our captain and Allie Laurie have just done a great job of setting a great example for our young kids and being very welcoming and supporting. There's a lot of those freshmen that are playing major minutes, and probably I think we've started 4 and 5. I think maybe even at the end of the Auburn game there might have even been 5 or 6. Then you look at the Auburn game and every goal scored by a freshman. So they've contributed, but most importantly how that group is mixed and how they've supported each other and cared for one another, I think, is the greatest reason for the success of the group.
Conference play beginning this weekend, as all Samford soccer fans know, you guys have won 5 straight regular season titles. This year, when the preseason poll came out, you're picked second. Greensboro picked a win. Any extra added motivation there, or is that something you don't really pay too much attention to?
I don't. I'm sure for the kids, they're like, they want to be picked one, but I'm trying to figure out what took the league so long to not pick us one, right? Because I'm not, I didn't think we'd be picked one last year, in all honesty. The league's a really good league, and I think this year it's as strong as it's been in quite some time. If you look across the board, that the coaches in the league are really, really good. They know what they're doing, and it'll certainly be a daunting task to try to get our 6. But I'm 100% positive that there's 9 other coaches in this league will have something to say about that.
You start with 2 home games this weekend. You've got Furman on Friday, Wofford on Sunday. Just give us a little preview of what you expect from those 2 teams this weekend.
Well, I don't think that we could have a much more difficult opener, right? It's a rivalry game for us. Most of our kids know the kids at Furman. We both recruit Atlanta and Florida a ton. Andrew and I have known each other forever, so it's a really, really tough opener. And those games are always tight, right? I mean, they're usually either we win by a goal, they win by a goal, or occasionally we get a tie in there. So nothing about it is easy. The game definitely will have a physical presence to it. It will be challenging for both teams, and goals will be at a premium.
Coach, appreciate your time. Best of luck this weekend.
All right, thanks so much.
Samford head coach Todd Yelton. Stay tuned. We've still got an interview with freshman forward Taylor Yount coming up next.
Hi, I'm Sam Pritchard, and this is the Samford Sports Minute presented by Brombergs. The volleyball team had a tough weekend in the Western Kentucky Invitational, but rebounded in a midweek game against Chattanooga with a 3-0 win to start off SoCon play. They head out of town this weekend to take on Wofford and the Citadel before facing Mercer next Wednesday. The soccer team had the weekend off, but begins SoCon play this weekend. They take on Furman on Friday and Wofford on Sunday at the Samford Track and Soccer Stadium. The football team beat Alabama A&M in their home opener last weekend, 55-21. They're at home again this weekend, taking on the number 25 team in the country, the Citadel, at 2 o'clock on Saturday. Cross-country teams took part in a meet at the Atlanta Track Club. Both the men's and women's teams had good meets and finished second overall. Dylan Dean won the individual title for the men. They're back in action next weekend in the Louisville Classic. The men's golf team competed in the Graham McDowell Invitational earlier in the week, where they placed 13th. They're off this weekend, but return to action in the Jerry Pay Intercollegiate October 6th through the 8th. And the women's golf team will compete in the Jacksonville Classic on Sunday through Tuesday. And finally, the women's tennis team kicks off their fall seasons this weekend with the Samford Round Robin right here at the Samford Tennis Center. I'm Sam Pritchard, and this has been your Samford Sports Minute presented by Brombergs.
Welcome back to the Samford Sports Wrap-Up. I'm joined now by freshman forward Taylor Yount. Taylor, appreciate your time, and I'd love to start just by kind of talking about what brought you to Samford. You're a Florida native. Just talk a little bit about the process of when they started recruiting you and how you came to become a Samford Bulldog.
Well, I was a sophomore at the time when I really started talking to Coach Todd and all that, but I took my my spring break of my sophomore year, and when I came here, I just kind of seeing the campus and seeing them practice and stuff, I just kind of felt like that was where I would best succeed, and it just felt like the right place for me. And then asking around other people about schools, I had never heard anything bad about Samford, so that's just where for me it was just kind of okay, this is where I want to be for my next 4 years after high school. So
talk a little bit about what it's been like being a student athlete here. It's obviously kind of an adjustment going from high school to college, and when you're juggling classwork and also being an athlete, it can be a lot. What's the process kind of been like for you?
Yeah, no, it was definitely a hard adjustment at first, just because the training and the school is nothing like high school or club really. The play is just so much higher, and everybody here is super good. But it's been a good adjustment, and I love it here now, and with study hall and everything, and being with, there's 11 of us, so there's a lot of girls that I can talk to, and everybody on the team is super supportive as well. So it just has been a good adjustment now, and now I'm getting into the groove of classes and getting around campus. So
I'm sure it's nice too when the coaches are recruiting you that they can kind of use, hey, we've won 5 straight SoCon regular season titles as a recruitment tool. That probably helps your decision a little bit.
No, yeah, for sure it did.
Let's talk about your play on the field. You've come out and you've really made an instant impact in your freshman year. Right now, you're tied for the SoCon lead in goals with 6. You're tied for the SoCon lead in points with 13. Coming in, I mean, what were kind of your expectations? Did you expect to get off to such a good start?
I was just wanting to do my best, obviously, because I knew coming in that I wanted to be an impact player. So I just try my best every time, at practice and in the games and stuff. And I mean, the girls around me too. I could not have been in those situations if it wasn't for the girls on the team, obviously, around me. So. But no, it's been exciting, and I love it here.
A lot of your production has come recently. I think all 6 of your goals have come in the last 6 games, and it was kind of highlighted in that Alabama State game. It was a 5-0 win. You get a hat trick. Pretty cool to get a hat trick that earlier in your career. Yeah. What's kind of running through your mind? And when you hit 2, are you kind of pushing for that 3rd one?
Yeah, I was. I don't know. I was just kind of shocked, too, at first. I was like, wow, did that really just happen? But no, it was exciting, and that's something I'll remember definitely for sure.
There's been obviously a lot of tradition built within this program over the years, 5 straight regular season titles, as we mentioned. Coming in as a freshman, how important is it to you to kind of keep that going and push for a 6th consecutive title?
Super important, because, I mean, that it's motivational, and it motivates me to, to want to do my best and to want to keep pushing as hard as I can so we can get that 6th straight.
Taylor, appreciate your time. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you, and thank you for having me.
Special thanks to both Taylor Yount and head coach Todd Yelton for joining me on this edition of the Samford Sports Wrap-Up. Remember, Samford Soccer is home both Friday night against Furman and Sunday night against Wofford. We'll see you next week.